What it do, y'all? We back with another episode of Wrestling with Xotics. It's your boy, the franchise kid, Franchise Jerry, and I got my dog with me.
Oh, you never think I need a Fiji water. Cat bad to glow bad.
Yes, sir. And today we're going to be talking about Raw's 30th birthday live from Philadelphia. Raw started off with the tribal court, and they were basically judging Sammy for all the past times they felt like Sammy was being shysty. And this was all led by Paul Heyman. He even went a step further and wished death upon Sammy. I thought that shit was OD. You know what I'm saying? This was a weird ass segment, if we're being honest. He put together a little video package of basically 4 reasons why Sammy should not be trusted. Paul got Roman all charged up to where he told Solo, put the hands on Sammy. And right before Solo could hit Sammy with the Samoan spike, surprisingly, Jey Uso stopped him and told the group that, yo, he put together his own video package. And I was hyped that he did that because it showed every time Sammy took a bullet for the bloodline, Jey was able to convince Roman and get Sammy a little bit more time in the bloodline. But Roman said pretty much he don't want to fuck with Sammy until Royal Rumble. The final test will be at Royal Rumble. What do you think that test is going to be, bro? And what did you think about this segment to kick off the show?
All right, I'm gonna answer the what I thought about the segment first. I thought this segment was pretty interesting and it told a lot of story and it overall showed the development of the characters all in the history of how long they've known each other.
Yeah.
Because not too long ago, before we did I think it was the Friday night podcast, I was briefly going through the history of the bloodline, just getting a jogging my memory of Sammy just lineage joining them, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was just funny to see like the growth in that, and we were just laughing the whole way. And then in this moment, it felt so much drama, but at the same time comic relief, and at the same time like serious, like what's gonna happen with Sammy. And it was just great to see. Like I love the fact that of all people, Jay stepped up for him and put together a video package where it's like, why is Jay like Jay hated Sammy, so that shows the character development that
Yeah, it shows the growth.
where Jay looking at Sammy like really like a brother, like really like an actual honorary Uso now, not just like a mascot, like how he used to say. And I feel like Sammy doesn't deserve this, bro. As we said, it's only a matter of time before this shit comes to an end. But I really think Sammy's gonna get some championships because of what is gonna happen a little bit later. We're gonna talk more about that later. But as far as the test goes, bro, he's gonna have to help Roman retain that championship, dog. If he doesn't, he won't be Roman's not his dog. He won't have many dogs. He won't be able to claim nobody in the bloodline as my dog. Like, why are you doing that to me? Because I feel like Roman is like pretty much setting a tone with Sammy. Like, you know what I want, bro, and you keep like dancing around this shit, and I know you're an expert dancer, but so am I. But I'm a passive aggressive dancer. You're fucking passive. There's no aggression at all.
What does Roman exactly want from Sammy that Sammy isn't already doing?
He wants Sammy to fucking stay in his lane, stay completely displaced, and he wants.
Doesn't he do that though?
He that's a tribal chief.
When Sammy's
I was
brought
in on that. When he doesn't stay in his place, because why the fucking people can't hear your name when I'm in the ring with you?
Because I was just about to say Roman's putting him in that spotlight to do so.
Exactly.
So it's like
it's mental manipulation, gaslighting to the highest degree.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why? How is Sammy going against your grain at all? He does everything that you tell him and more. And then when you put him in positions to have spotlight, he takes it. And then when he has that spotlight, he also highlights Roman and acknowledges Roman before he even says or does anything. So that's why I'm like,
it stems from, but it's not completely just on Sammy or just saying the Roman's thing. It just stems from Roman's insecurities too, bro. You gotta remember, if you're telling everyone to acknowledge you and consistently like acknowledge me and just like you want to be seen and you want to be heard and you feel as though like you're the fucking champ. You know Roman's fucking face at Roman's place. Much as we say John Cena is currently right now, that's that nigga. He sell all the merchandise as well. That's why he got hit the belt so long.
He's the current WWE champion.
Yeah, so like you know what I'm saying? So it's like Roman is getting his just due and acknowledgement, and he knows he's a part timer and shit. Like he got everything he wants, how it's made out to be, but it's just like it's that little bit of insecurity. Like, and he's here all the time. You guys fuck with him so much. You know he's under me and he wants to be all this. It's just like when Jay had that little pusher. He didn't like that shit.
Sammy hasn't said he want to be anything but a part of the bloodline.
Just like, but low key,
When has Sammy ever said that he want to be a champion at all? Any
never.
kind of champion?
Remember when Jay used to sometimes say kind of shit that like that, but remember Jay Wood for the most part when Roman first coming back with this shit and really starting the bloodline with him, Jay was just trying to. Ooh, so I was in a tournament. What's going on? It's not personal, bro. Like I love you, bro. And Roman wasn't hearing that nigga embarrassed him on 2 main events of pay per view. Only time you ain't been in a main event, your cousin's embarrassing, choking you out, bro. So I think Roman's at this point at this shit where we know how we feel burnt out of him in the belt. This is a part of it. So it's like I feel like they're creeping up on like how you said they're gonna split it up or whatever's gonna come of him not being some sort of champion is coming soon, bro. Because they let him break a lot of records, and he's already a modern step, like a modern pillar in WWE. Roman cannot be erased. That's why Seth is saying things like, "I can only hope to be a second fiddle," because he watching like I had the title before you, bro, and they never let me do none of this shit. Overall, I think Sammy is gonna have to help Roman win this championship by hook or crook. And do you think he's gonna cheat? How do you think he's gonna go about doing that? Because it has to be done.
I have no idea, but as long as Sammy doesn't win the Rumble, I think he'll be all right. The Usos will take on the Judgment Day right after this, and that's Damian and Dominic Mysterio for the Raw Tag Team titles. How this match ended was very unexpected. Jimmy was showing his age in this match. Like I've been telling you guys, he doesn't take care of himself as well as Jay, and it shows in the ring. So he ended up getting hurt, and if you get hurt and you have the title, you're going to have to end up forfeiting it. So Adam Pearce came out and made Sami Zayn a part of the match so that way they can keep it going. So now we got Sami and Jay versus Dominic and Damian. And they were able to retain the tag titles, which is good for them. I thought this was a dope ass match, and I thought it was even cooler to see Sami Zayn do their finisher like he's been waiting to do that shit his entire life. What did you think about this match, dog?
Sammy's a fucking chameleon, dog. This man knows how to maneuver and adapt when he needs to and play his role. That's one of the best features that Sammy provides, and that's why he's been the MVP of low key 2022 and 2023 because Sammy's getting merchandising, he's doing everything. It's time for him to step up to the plate. He always holds it down for the bloodline. He is a proud member and wants to be acknowledged in his own right, but without be rival with the tribal chief. And I felt like watching him hit that 1D, bro, is like he hit that shit better than Jimmy, bro. I look
Yeah.
really glad Jimmy went down to see Sammy in this match. And
Do you
it's
think
like
it was actually written like that for Jimmy to go down, or do you think he really got hurt?
I honestly believe that it was written like that for Jimmy, but it's believable because he's had a lot of leg injuries in the past. And I just want to
Yeah,
touch on Jimmy. Why you be drinking so much and doing the extracurriculars? Like you are a generational talent as well because I believe you and your brother are some of the best tag teams that WWE's ever seen. And the
yeah.
consistency and the ability that you guys showed to come out on top to finally have these moments like now, you guys are blessed, man. You should be taking care of yourself. Like look at Jay's dedication.
I was gonna say, bro, it's obvious that Jay takes way better care of himself than Jimmy does. That's why I was saying a few months ago, like, I don't really believe them when they win these title matches. You know what I'm saying? Because Jimmy's just so damn old. He just
Yeah,
so
he's real
damn
top
old.
heavy. You could just tell like is when he's not wrestling or on the road, it's relaxed time. He got the
Yeah,
brewski, he got the Ronas, and then he got on ice and he whatever his wife's cooking, he's down. He's watching football, he watching the Niners and shit, just chilling.
yeah, bro. He's got to get out of that shit if he wants to continue to make this shit look like it's legible, and if he wants to have a long wrestling career. Because I'm telling you, after they lose these belts, I don't see them holding these belts
For
at
a
all
long
for
time.
a
They might
long
retire and
time.
never touch it again.
Yeah, they
Or
might
maybe or
retire
and
after
like
this.
and like or they might do that little like we can get the belts one more time before we retire type vibe, you know? But one thing I will mention, another great showing for Damian Priest. He often works the heavier load in matches when it comes to the Judgment Day, and I feel like WWE has big plans for him, and they want to see him strive. But I can't say that away from his attire and his overall gimmick, I don't really care for it. But I can't say he's not a talented performer. For someone that's nearly 40 years old already, he knows how to maneuver, how to use his body to his advantage. I feel like Dominic could really learn from him because Damian Priest is probably like 1 inch taller, 2 inches taller than him, and I feel like he can learn to work out like him, how to adapt, because he does like low key little high flying moves for someone that's pretty built. You know what I'm
he's
saying?
nice, bro. He was going crazy
Like
in
that
this
flip he
match.
did, when he pulls that off, bro, I'd be like amazed because I ain't never seen someone do a front flip like that off the ropes, let alone someone that's
I
6'5".
felt like he'd be so much cooler if his attire was changed.
Bro, he just looked like he wearing a bustier, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, no, you got a cool move set too, Damien. Like, you're really menacing, like, but you're not like, why are you wearing eyeliner? You're not the Undertaker, bro. Like, it's like, it confuses me. I'm like, what? What's going for? You're so like you're tough. You told Dom not to be soft. I'm not saying eyeliner doesn't. It's not necessarily make you soft because Undertaker had it, but it's just like you don't need to be wearing that shit. I don't know what point you're trying to get across, but it does. It's unnecessary.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of the dead man, we had a surprise guest appearance from him in this LA Knight segment where he cut a promo telling everybody that he's about to whoop Bray Wyatt's ass pretty much and that he's not scared of him and called everyone incels. You know, I just love his rhetoric. He's just like, as much as he is like a cocky douche in some skinny ass jeans, he's just so funny. Like, he's entertaining. Like, no matter what, he invokes a reaction out of you, and I feel like that's embodies what a real wrestler slash heel is supposed to, supposed to provide. Anyway, Undertaker comes out, and now Undertaker doesn't come out. He comes out in American Badass, which is my favorite rendition of Undertaker. I don't know why a lot of people.
Likewise.
I don't know why a lot of people hate on him, but that's the real Undertaker. And I always felt like that was him giving, like, I'm tired of dressing up and all this extra shit. I'm wearing these sunglasses. I'm riding these cool ass motorcycles.
I feel like that's more closer to his real life.
Exactly, and he's gonna be like, I'm gonna talk on this microphone. Say he didn't talk too much, but he talked enough, and I fucked with it. One of my favorite promos the Undertaker has ever cut was with Triple H. It was in 2001 on SmackDown where he was basically telling Triple H, like, you say you beat everybody, but you never beat me, and I make people famous when you step in the ring with me. Right. And that pretty much sparked that WrestleMania 17 match where Undertaker clearly won. But nonetheless, seeing him and LA Knight in the ring let me know LA Knight's in the fucking right place in this shit, bro. He's on the right. You don't just be an Undertaker or be in a segment with Undertaker if they don't have plans for you or see you as somebody for real.
Or if they're trying to actually bury you.
Yeah, and I don't. But think about how many people have really been buried in the same way Undertaker. Like, as on some anniversary, and he didn't really get embarrassed because like Undertaker threw him to Bray. So it's like that's a cool little.
Yeah, Bray is gonna bury him.
I don't know if Bray's gonna bury him, but I see what you're saying. Anyways, Bray Wyatt ended up coming out. He started to freak LA Knight out, so he ended up going back into the ring. Undertaker tossed him back to Bray. Sister Abigail was the next course of action. Then Undertaker and Bray have this, this weird like phenom standoff, and then Undertaker whispers something in his ear. And I wasn't too sure what he said, but I think he said something along the lines of, you know what you got to do with this one. Like, you know what we got to do, What do you think he said?
I feel like he told him something like, you should stop wearing those boots. And then just kept it pushing. Because he has some weird ass freaky nigga
sometimes
boots.
I be seeing Bray wear some shit. I'm like, you are like, the white
You
with
put
the dread,
that shit on by yourself.
The white dreads is enough as it is. But it's just like, he's extra like out there with those boots,
no
bro.
kizzy.
I thought the same thing, bro. That's crazy that you said that.
Yeah, bro. I thought this was one hell of a moment in wrestling. Old scary nigga meets new scary nigga, and basically is a passing of the torch. I thought that was pretty dope, and I would even like to see them work together, like later on down the road. I've seen somewhere on Twitter that The Undertaker is planning on working closely with a new WWE superstar, so that would be dope to see. Also, I'm hyped that he came out with the American Badass, bro. That's just the best taker, bro. He had so many great moments being the American Badass. One of my favorites was when he dragged Hulk Hogan's drunk ass through the whole arena. Remember when he tied him up and drugged him and shit?
Yeah, bro. I honestly love the rendition of the Undertaker, bro. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because it's like it makes me really feel like that's him, bro. Like he's a cool ass motherfucker. Like
Yeah,
imagine a biker. I can see a biker dude being called Taker, bro.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he always like I loved how he had the
And
last
he didn't
ride,
do hella paranormal shit. Like,
bro. He didn't, and I
he
love that
kept it
he,
down to a minimum.
bro. He was just on some real. I'll pop up and beat your ass. Nigga didn't even do a
Mm.
lot of that.
He would
I'm
just pop up, like, he would still use the dark shit, like, where the whole screen
rarely,
would go
bro.
dark,
He'd
and
still
then,
pull up on the bike, just like
yeah.
you know, I'm coming to whooping your ass, bro. And then when he turned heel and he cut his hair, oh shit, nigga, he dragged Hulk
That's
Hogan.
Big Evil.
That's big evil. He don't give a fuck. Like Undertaker just dope as fuck. It was just cool as fuck to see, and I think now we're gonna start getting this more version of Undertaker more and more because he's tired of doing that shit. Because Mark is on the ranch riding around his fucking bikes, finally like,
Right.
I got all these millions, I got all these bikes, I don't gotta break my back every WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's not going for that shit no more.
At all.
Next, we got Bayley versus Becky in the steel cage match. Well, we thought that that's what we were going to get, but Becky was actually scheduled for a mugging, and that's exactly what Damage Control did. I read on Ringside News that the Usos segment went too long, so they didn't really have time for this cage match to actually be developed. So that was very unfortunate, and I feel like they should have changed the format of the show to where this was the opening match, and I felt like that would have been better. So I'm disappointed that we didn't get to see that, but I will say the only thing that Bayley successfully did was piss Becky off, and I feel like when Becky's fully back to normal and full strength, she gonna do her bad.
I completely agree with you, bro. I feel like they did not give the women their fair just due. I believe this match should have started off the Raw 30th anniversary because it would have highlighted the women, and I thought it was a great way to pay respect to the women and show them that you have fully faith and you believe that they're talent worthy to start off your program, and at the same time having a high intensity match. It was high action, like it was a steel cage match. It wasn't just like a plain wrestling match, and that's not to say
Yeah.
women can't have a plain wrestling
And they
match to
were
start it
talking
off.
about like how rare it is that women wrestle in steel cage matches.
Exactly, and then I feel as though like you guys hyped it up, but that's one thing I was really looking forward to. Low key,
Hmm.
a little bit more to the bloodline segment because I know what to expect with that. But this steel cage is like this is bragging rights for both of them. It's not for a championship, but it's like who's really the better four horsewomen. Like we
Yeah.
know who it is, but if Bailey wins, he can tip her cap and have
Yeah.
that over her. You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense to me to start the show off with that because if you start the show off with that you everything would fall into place because that was the most time consuming match. Especially you know damn well you didn't have no other matches for women involved on the damn show. So why did you do that? And you guys played into the whole WWE leans on the whole old school nostalgia, 90s attitude era. You guys always pay too much homage to that shit and like try to lean on the old male figures because like let's get it clear. The Attitude Era is a fucking great time, but hella misogynistic. So
Yeah.
y'all demoted women, and every time they were on the screen, they had to be naked. So it's like that kind of like showed like you guys didn't have work them in the schedule at all to wrestle and display their skills. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I feel like WWE's come so far since then. Pro wrestling as a whole, and I feel like Raw especially needs to highlight women's wrestling way more than they do. To make Damage Control fucking wrestle for the tag team champion. Why was it not on the fucking show, bro? This Titan One Bailey, we beating up Becky with you.
Right. And
What?
when was the last time Damage Control actually defended those belts?
So I'm like, bro, this is exactly why Mercedes ended up leaving because women's wrestling in WWE is low key a joke. That's why I love to see how we were talking about AEW and how the women's wrestling is clicking up because now it's like you feel this territory, like you feel the changing of the guard. I want that in this wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right.
It sucks they took away this show. Switching tempo is something that was a little bit more upbeat and a treat to see. You know, I'm a huge Kurt fan. I see he got the Kurt shirt on.
Yes, sir. From
We
this
had,
angle, you suck.
we had Kurt Angle coming out as an honorary DX member, hitting the chops, and it was just great to see. And then it was so funny they were doing their whole little spiel, and then all of a sudden, Road Dogg Jesse James looks and said, "Hey, wait a minute, you're not Billy Gunn." I'm not a fan of Kurt replacing him, but Kurt would be a way better member. Actually, a world champ. I feel like besides him and Kurt and Sean, only world champs ever been in Diaz. You know what I'm saying? So it was just cool to see that. It was kind of funny, and then they had little bits. What do you think about that segment, bro?
I thought this segment was hilarious, bro. And but what's not funny is how Triple H is always talking about how somebody got to get ready to suck it. And it's like, what do you mean by that? Why do we got to participate with that with you? Like, no, if you be sucking shit, bro, that's what you do. But I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't like how Imperium came out and was just trying to ruin everything. I didn't feel like they needed to even inject themselves into that moment. But I thought it was cool that DX had Seth Rollins on speed dial, and Seth Rollins plus the Street Profits came out to even up the score because everybody in DX, including Kurt Angle, was just too old to put up any kind of fight against Imperium. So that pretty much led into their match. Make this shit even better, bro. They even had Teddy Long come out to make this shit official. This was one of the best six-man tag team matches that I've ever seen, bro. The whole time I'm watching this, I was thinking how cool it would be to have the trios belts in WWE. Also, how cool it would be to see Seth Rollins and the Street Profits versus the Elite. Who would you think would win that battle?
Honestly, bro, I could see Seth Rollins beating Kenny Omega, and I could see the Street Profits being able to somehow over athleticize the Young Bucks. Even though the Young Bucks are really athletic, I feel like Montez's strength and Dawkins like his cunning and like he's it creeps up on you. You don't really expect it to come from him, so you don't really know. And I feel like that would make the Young Bucks overconfident, and they would just slip up. And I definitely feel like Seth Rollins is what Kenny Omega should have been if he would have went the WWE route, but he's already him times 10 because he can hold it down. It just sucks that he was injured, so he never got his real WrestleMania main event. But come on now, if Seth was to go that indie route, he would have done everything. He's wrestled Ring of Honor, did everything. First ever NXT champ.
Yeah, literally,
He's
bro.
like really, he literally Triple H's high flying prodigy.
Yeah, I would definitely love that. Hopefully, one day they do combine the companies, AEW with WWE, so that way we can get these dream matches. I do also want to highlight Montez Ford. I'm happy that he put on that muscle, bro, because he has everything that it takes to be a WWE champion. So there's really no reason why they shouldn't give him a belt at this point. My favorite parts of this match was when the Street Profits put Imperium in that ankle lock, and then Seth also did the angle slam in front of Kurt. I thought that was dope. I would have to give this match a 4-star match out of 5. It would be a 5 if somebody actually went through a table. What do you think?
I'd have to say this match was a solid five, just because Kurt was a guest referee. You know I'm biased. I fuck with Kurt. Every time I see him, I'm just like, man. I was watching that moment, just like overall, him as the special guest referee, and I was, bro, like, I was like, if he ever passes away or something happens to him, bro, I'd be sick, bro. He look how old and fragile he is, but I feel like him caught in the match and seeing them do all those moves is a great rendition, and it felt like it was just good nostalgia. Like, yes, pay respects to Kurt. He's a legend. Like, he had one of the best freshman careers in WWE history. So it's like anytime I see they pay homage to him, I always tip my cap to those competitors. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
great
for
match.
sure. Next up, we got Ric Flair introducing slash praising Charlotte Flair, 16th time champ, introducing the 14th time champ. 30 belts total between them. As Carlito would say, no, that's cool. Charlotte speaks on Raw always being her home, but before she gets too ahead of herself, she's met with Bianca Belair. She basically told Charlotte, you can do whatever you want, just not here because this is my show. And I was fucking with that, man. You know Bianca's the boss, man. She run this shit for real. Sonya Deville's nasty ass came out looking for handouts, and instead she got an ass whooping by Bianca Belair. What'd you think about that, bro?
That shit was just funny. I'm getting tired of seeing Tony come out there and try to talk about, oh, I used to be this, I could be that, respect me. but I never won shit. I'm known for being close to Mandy Rose before they sent her to NXT, but I don't really do shit that entertains you, and I don't win matches. So seeing her come out there to interfere with these generational talents is just bullshit. She doesn't. She's
Yeah.
not in their caliber. So why is she in
And they
that
really
moment?
do be giving her title shots.
Bro,
Like,
it's asinine. I think it's just because they want to prove she's so piece of shit that they could beat her. But it's like,
no,
nah.
she doesn't even deserve the TV
It's
time.
like it's like that mean African kid. Like,
She needs to go back to NXT too. That would be her best bet.
no cap.
Make sure you guys watch the Royal Rumble this Saturday on the Peacock app. Bianca Belair will be going against Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Can't wait to see that shit.
Yes, Sirski. Who you got in that match, bro?
You already know I got the GOAT, Bianca Belair. How about you, dog?
Oh man, I'm gonna play. I'm not gonna
You
say.
ain't learned yet? You ain't learned your lesson yet?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
okay. We'll go with Bianca. We'll go with Bianca. She gonna hold it down.
You're terrible.
The following main event from Monday Night Raw to celebrate the 30th anniversary was Austin Theory taking on Bobby Lashley in a no disqualification match for the United States Championship. I don't know why he set up for a no disqualification match with Theory. I knew once that happened, some bullshit was gonna happen. And keep note, he mentioned Brock Lesnar prior in his interview segment.
Yeah, he did.
So when Brock came through and fucked him over, and Theory's coming through and gets the easy pinfall victory, I'm fucking sick. I'm like, no, bro. Why are they pushing this narrative? Like, and it's kind of like how Theory was skating off when Mr. McMahon was in charge, kept pushing him, but at the same time, it's not the same. So it's like he's just picking his spots, and greats have done it in the past. So I'm like, oh my god, why are you making him a regular good heel? No, I'm sick.
Yeah, bro. That shit was whack, bro. I wasn't expecting that. I wanted to see Bobby actually get his fair shake at the title because he was dominating most of the match, too. I didn't expect that shit to go like that. And the only other comment I have on this too is Austin Theory gotta just stop wrestling in these booty shorts, bro. Like that shit is crazy. Like
I,
you're a grown ass man out there wrestling in booty shorts. Oh, I also gotta mention how Bobby probably wouldn't have got done like that if he was actually cool with MVP and Omos, because they probably would have been able to. Well, not MVP. MVP ain't fighting nobody, but Omos definitely would have had his back.
You can't even count MVP out, bro. He got that cane. You know he good to crack somebody in the back of
He
down.
always.
He's like, back
I'm a.
up, son. Back up. This limp is fake. This limp is fake.
I'm in Miami, nigga.
Yeah, you can't trust me. I'm sly. I'm playing. I'm playing. Back up. Back up.
So much cap in his rap.
So much cap. But I like the team of possibility of Bobby Lashley and Omos, bro. But do you think it is going that direction, or it's like, nah, MVP's like, I got somebody to listen to me. He's bigger, better, and stronger than you, and I can see him. I can use you as a stepping stone to solidify Omos as a top threat.
I don't want to see Omos be a glorified minion again, basically, because that's what he was with AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I want, if they team up, like, I want it to be equal. You know what I'm saying? Omos is striving for a belt, too. That could be the WWE Championship, or that could be the United States Championship, and they kind of got like a friendship, but still going for the same goal. Like kind of like how Brock and Kurt Angle did for the WWE Championship. Like, but they still maintain their friendship, but they like, nigga, I'm gonna do you bogus for that belt.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I would like to see something like that.
I fuck with that. I fuck with that because when Brock and like Kurt Angle had like the best time just being friends, but like cutting backstage promos, but knowing damn well Sunday come they gonna tear each other apart.
Right.
So it's like good sportsmanship. So I get that. What do you think is gonna come from all of this with Theory, Lashley, and Brock now? Because I'm thinking, is Brock gonna challenge for the United States Championship just to show I want that title? Just because he's never done
That'd be
it.
dope.
He never won any mid card title in the history of his career. So it's just funny to think that all of a sudden he just challenged just to be petty to Bobby and be like who? Because that I always think when they're in the same context
Mm.
about that promo he cut and made that knock knock joke. He said, Bobby Lashley, who?
Yeah,
He said, who the fuck is that?
did him
Brock,
bogus.
Brock had me rolling, and Bobby was so sick, bro. He was like, there's
Yeah,
no way he's cracking this.
yeah. What'd you think about Raw's 30th birthday?
Overall, they provided me with good matchups. The segments were kind of off-putting because they didn't really feel like they had a lot of thought or like make me gonna remember like, oh my god, that shit was so funny. Even the Baron Corbin segment, they made fun of him and it was kind of like off-putting because I'm like, you guys are repackaging him a lot. You guys see a lot of potential in him, even though he may not like it or I like him. He knows that he's seen a lot of Baron Corbin on his screen for a reason. WWE likes him, and they want us to
Yeah,
feel.
he's a good whooping
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like either way,
Slap
but
that ball
he's a
head.
whooping boy that's actually gonna amount to being a champion because you put multiple championships on him, and you've only have one person beat him, kick out of his finisher. Only one person, and he's the last one of the last people to pin Roman Reigns. So I'm like, WWE, you guys are not focusing on your
Everybody
stuff.
kicks out his finisher nowadays, bro.
But anyway, this show was a solid 8 because I got nostalgia vibes from it, and I just like I said, matchups was good. So away from the shitty timing with certain legends they try to just throw together on the screen, it was a good show. What about you, bro?
I enjoyed Raw's 30th birthday. I expected to see more legends. I was kind of disappointed in that, but they made up for it for all the great matches for real. Who is your pick to win the Royal Rumble this Saturday?
My pick is the returning Cody Rhodes. My runner-up is Sami Zayn, and my wild card is Seth freaking Rollins. I know that might sound kind of crazy, and I feel like people are gonna think Sami and Seth should be switched, but hear me out. I picked Sami to second because we've been saying for a long time championship. Be something, aspirate to something, aspire to be something. So let's say Sammy fuck around has a Cinderella story moment. That'd be cool as fuck. But I feel like Seth is my wild card because I feel like there's nothing ever really set in stone for Seth. And it's kind of hard and it's fucked up to say that because he reminds me so much of Chris Jericho after he won the Undisputed Championship. That's because he hit a ceiling, and even though Chris Jericho still proved there's no ceiling on his career, which is Seth is still doing right now, it's hard for him to gain that traction momentum because he can make fucking piss in the wine. He can make shit look like it's chocolate fondue. And
Right.
then you know what I'm saying? So it's like they just be squandering him and I want him to be on the upper echelon like Roman. I don't like hearing him say he could be second fiddle because Chris Jericho was so arrogant and he would never say that shit even though he knows that they're holding him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Chris would never say some
So,
shit like
so
that.
but for him for the Royal Rumble, I got Cody winning it just because overall they told it like just look at the little vignettes. Look how they throwing him out there and they're kind of like they slyly creeping it up on you. It's not doing the whole John Cena surprise. He had an injury. He's just gonna the pop. You know he's coming, but is he gonna be able to fulfill his family legacy? And that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna do it. And as far as the women go, I think it's got to be Rhea Ripley, bro. She's just been too dominant, holding down the Judgment Day. Even when she wasn't cleared, when she had that brain injury, she was imposing her will, being being an actual threat and it factor to that group, make culminating that. Now she's cleared. She's throwing around people. She's beating up dudes. She's pushing the envelope for the women. And like I said, they haven't been doing the women a just credit, making them look strong and imposing. And I feel like Rhea's the right character to set the tone for 2023, especially knowing fuck with Ronda winning it last year.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I'm definitely going to go with Seth Rollins winning the men's Royal Rumble. And as far as the women go, it'll probably be Rhea Ripley because she has so much momentum. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I'm excited for the Royal Rumble. Again, Royal Rumble will be on Peacock, and it's only $5 a month to watch that shit. So
Tap in.
let's get it. And that's been another great episode of the greatest podcast on YouTube today. That's Wrestling with Xotics. It's your boy, the franchise kid, franchise Jerry. And again, I got my dog with me.
Think I need to feed you all the
And you guys already know what it is, man. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
share the shit with the world, y'all.
And turn on your post notifications so you know every time we drop a track. Peace.